Oh, someone's here.
This must be Dr. Aden's workspace. The one the STG agent is investigating.
Based on Ungaran physiological norms, the subject has been compromised, immune system weakened by overuse of the Taon, and has contacted a respiratory illness.
This equipment has been sterilized with a standard radioisotope. There are trace elements of biomaterial that could be consistent with exaltation pods.
Or they could be leftovers from Aden's experiments.
The agent mentioned a Ket handler, too.
Geno Lab supplies mass spectrometer, Kieda field model, last registered user Dr. Madro Aden. Trace elements, sodium chloride medium, and Garan cellular remains. The equipment has traces of chemical compounds used in Ket exaltation chambers.
You, the Pathfinder. Is it true? Can you talk to the old machines?
You mean the Remnant?
I'm no threat to them. Never have been. Tell them to stop hurting me.
Why would the Remnant come after you?
I dig for useful things around the pillars. Good tech. Machines always left me alone until now.
Did they injure you, or just chase you off?
They chased me, and I slipped on the ice. That hurt.
You were misinformed. I can't actually talk to the Remnant. Even if I could, I don't think they'd listen.
Well, good are you then? Thanks for nothing.
Well, that wasn't very nice. Sorry I can't just solve all your problems like Space Jesus all the time.
This equipment has been sterilized with a standard radioisotope. There are trace elements of biomaterial that could be consistent with exaltation pods.
Or they could be leftovers from Aden's experiments.
The agent mentioned a Ket handler, too.
What you found at John Inc. was amazing, Pathfinder. We'll be able to excavate the city, reclaim our lost history. These recent victories against the Ket have opened so many possibilities. Rebuilding, even expansion. There is a place for your people in this, if you desire. I'd like to extend a formal welcome, as steward of Techix.
I appreciate your generosity.
I am being practical. Many feel our peoples are stronger together than apart. With the vault reactivated, the conditions on Vold will improve with time. At least, that is the hope. I will leave you to it then, Ryder. Welcome home.
Tell me more about Techix.
It's the largest town on Vold, home to hundreds of my people. We manufacture, we trade, and we try to live good lives, even with the Ket presence. I have lived here all my life, and there's no place I'd rather live.
What about Aya?
Ugh, sulfurous air. Not for me.
You called yourself steward. What's that?
I have guardianship of Techix. I ensure its functions, and that its people are safe. Commander Doziel and the Resistance fight the Ket with their weapons, with their fists. Myself and others here, we fight by refusing to give in, by living in spite of them.
I won't disturb you further.
It is no disturbance at all. May your luck build, Ryder.
I wonder if there's any theoretical models that kind of try to explain how reasonable it is or isn't for a person who stands on two legs to have, like, those digigrade legs where they zig and zag back and forth, and, like, the center of gravity's gotta be weird because, like, it's not directly above your legs, and then you have several joints that are at weird angles, and they're supposed to be supporting your weight at all times at those angles. I feel like you normally encounter legs of that shape when they're the back legs of a four-legged creature, and I don't really know much about biology and skeletal structure and what is ideal or non-ideal about that kind of stuff.
You're tougher than you look.
And you're smarter than you look, Drac. Stubborn, though.
You talk like stubborn and smart aren't the same thing.
They're not the same thing. You can be both, but they're not the same thing.
Tech ahead, bound to have Ket.
I just can't help but think that maybe having non-straight legs might be tiring or bad for your muscles or have weird skeletal implications. Like, it just seems like...
Let's get a scan.
a strange setup for someone who stands up straight.
Let's get a scan.
Up we go. Alright. Well, that didn't really work out. Try that again. Whip. Howdy. Oh no. Who knew that there could be Ket here again? Whoopsie. Bad news for you. And now you're floating. How's that feel?
This Ket was Dr. Aden's contact.
How's that destiny working out for you? Oh man, what a great destiny. I'm so glad they gave you a destiny so you could just fucking die here. Really nailed it. What do you mean that their weirdly self-serving title might be completely meaningless? Ah, that guy's stuck. That's great. He's yeah. A singularity is trying to suck him through the floor. So he was just floating there, suspended forever. We good? Gotta keep poking around. Not much to be seen back there. I think we got all the items. I should really get around to crafting
Let's get a scan.
new armor or something. I just don't like the crafting interface in this game even a little bit, so I kind of don't want to bother. I guess the game's not very hard. Maybe I can just not.
This Ket has a Milky Way comm device implanted. Particle vibration on the transmitter resembles Solarian encryptions.
Resembles doesn't prove much. The Ket could have found the implant on the Solarian Ark. The best leads on Aden's betrayal, and they're both circumstantial.
He's Solarian, probably guilty of something.
We could head to the Nexus and ask Reika about this. Maybe she knows something.
So back to the Nexus we go. We're never gonna be done with the Nexus. But maybe we'll be done with Vold now. Maybe. Let's get going. Alright, Reika. So, stuff points to maybe the idea. There's stuff that supports the idea of him studying Ket-related stuff or being involved in Ket-related stuff because it's on his medical stuff, it's on his tools. And at the same time, there's this issue where we did find, in fact, a Ket somewhere that had some amount of Solarian stuff.
All systems green.
Still all we have, though.
Gold orbit is steady.
We have a Solarian that has Ket stuff and a Ket that has Solarian stuff, but no necessary guarantee that the two are connected in any way, let alone that this guy actually betrayed his entire race. Which, why? We better get a decent answer. If he did do it, we better get a decent answer because it's really hard to come up with any sort of good one. All right, important time. Let's get talking. Hopefully she is nearby. There you are.
Ryder, always a pleasure. I hear you're assisting Major Salem Varn's investigation into Dr. Aden.
You know Salem?
I met him once or twice. A remarkable agent, despite his age. Unfortunately, my attempts to aid him have stalled.
What do you make of Salem's theory that someone betrayed your people?
It seems monstrous, but the more I consider it, the more the facts seem to fit. I've tried enlisting ARC leadership, those who woke first, but they've been busy, unhelpful, or both. Perhaps we should get creative.
Hey, if we don't break the rules, who will?
One of the ARC officers who woke early, Rand Lawn, has an apartment here. If he's too busy to help, you could scan around, carefully, see what you can find.
Alright. Rand Lawn's apartment. Oops. Jumping over. Yeah, that's easier than going to the stairs. There we go. I look like a sane person now. I kind of wonder what it would look like if someone made like a World of Warcraft style like efficient quest guide, where you're like, do these exact actions in this order, and you'll minimize the number of travel times you have where you go from location to location.
The first child born to a Milky Way
first thought I had when that person's like, "Hey, go talk to Raish." I'm like, "Oh, I just talked to her. I was just with her twice." Like, oh, if only I had planned this, I could have done all these things at once. That would have been so different. So it appeared he was upstairs over here. Makes sense. I assume that every single one of these apartments is some important character for some side quest somewhere. Because it's a very short hallway full of apartments. But we always come back to this one tiny, like 6-room hallway? And there's always another one that's the current important one.
Locked.
Including Jean Garson herself.
I may be able to hack this, Pathfinder.
I already am? Howdy, another apartment of somebody that may be betraying us. So now we come here for this person's apartment, not Sloan, whoever was betraying the Krogan, I'm forgetting their name now. And then once again for also Jean Garson herself.
Password protected. Little help, Sam?
Accessing. It contains financial and personnel reports. However, the EM signature suggests data was recently cleaned.
There's another case in one of those mega hit boxes where they place a box. Yeah, they placed a big box underground and you can scan it. And you can see the 3D shape of the box that's physically located underground and invisible and stuff. But it's a giant box to make it scannable to get these 2 footprints.
Freshly vacuumed.
Traces of dust still remain. Based on the Scourge radiation count, they came from a remote world.
So Randlon, or someone in his apartment, went exploring out there.
Cost-benefit assessment from Randlon from Neos Terran to Randlon. Here are the estimates you asked for, adjusted for current inflation on the Nexus. MTF, MTQ, MMP, just different credit amounts. Congratulations again on the Parchero's safe return, Hearn. From Obenkeld to Randlon, in response to invitation, I appreciate even one reply. 12 invites in 12 days have kept me distracted. I hope those 3 junior staff are still accompanying you. It's probably simpler to book space for 12 on the Commons and 4 on the mezzanine, plus 1 just in case. That way, if we need one more place, we're prepared. See you on the 18th, Obi. Prescription refill reminder. This is an automated reminder for Technical Officer Randlon. Your prescription is ready to pick up from Medical Dispensary 02. Pickup code, something that almost looks like a PlayStation Network or Steam code. Auto-generated by MedMonitor VI. Those didn't seem particularly informative. Talcum powder. Huh. Trace elements are powdered magnesium silicate, cornstarch, artificial scent, fingerprint fragment matches Technical Officer Randlon. Huh. Solarians use talcum powder? Made from talc? Which is why it's called talcum powder. It's literally just talc powdered. Like the naturally occurring mineral, which is a very soft mineral. Am I missing something to scan around here? Did I inspect, like, for physical interaction? We already tried the terminal. Talcum powder and stuff just indicates that he was here. What did it say before about the password? Oh, that is a proper randomized email password right there. ZAJ and then a bunch of symbols and exclamation points. Yep, that's not something based on like a catchphrase.
There may be additional clues, Pathfinder.
Yeah, well, I wanted to see if leaving triggered an event like maybe we were finding nothing and then I try leaving and then leaving has me get confronted, because that happens sometimes. Check his... I can climb his tables. His books? No. His tray table? Am I crazy? Is there something... Am I missing something? I checked his computer, right? Yeah, and you can't, like, inspect them any additional level. Can I scan his computer? I don't... Oh, what was that? What's that? Like a dot popping up every now and then. Talcum powder.
Scanner is prepped, Pathfinder.
Yeah, I get that much. Thank you, Sam. Could you maybe give me a hint, since you apparently already preemptively know what's scannable and what's not? It seems like there's something important here. The dot keeps popping up right there. But I can't see it. Oh, look at you.
It's been watered recently.
A single fiber is caught on a leaf. It shows traces of novetamine,
A drug?
a neurodepressant reported in some Andromeda wildlife. This plant is not one of them.
Wait,
Okay, something's fishy. Sam, can you work out which planet the dust on the floor came from?
I have a candidate. No record of any official visit. Once in orbit, I can approximate a nav point.
there's another scannable thing here. Were these scannable a second ago? Appears to be trace remains of a recent meal. There's a talcum powder, which doesn't even glow the correct color, which is weird. Huh. Also, there's exactly 2 footprints and no trail, which is weird. Considering that they'd have to come in through the door in particular.
What are you doing in my apartment?
You must be Rand Lon.
Yes, you're the one who saved our Ark. What are you doing here?
My fault. I'm visiting a friend and these doors all look alike.
You're quite obviously not here by accident. Now please, explain why you broke in or I'll have to report this to the militia.
First, explain why your console's been scrubbed and why there's traces of a neurodepressant in here.
Probably because I visited the labs and I suffered a power surge. Shall I also explain my heart medication? My clan ornaments? You sound just like... Oh, wait. Did you get roped into another of Salen Varn's crusades?
What do you mean?
No, I won't spread rumors. You can go, but I wouldn't break into any more homes on Salen's advice.
If I've been misled, I should hear these rumors.
The Major is brilliant, but he's just been in STG too long. He's been bothering us with conspiracies since he woke up. It's common in retired agents. They can't navigate a world without espionage.
I see.
Look, let's forget this happened. For the Major's sake. Goodbye, Pathfinder.
Still got that planet identified, Sam?
Yes, Pathfinder.
Let's see why Rand or his friends are going to the middle of nowhere.
What if it's not Rand? What if instead of being Rand, what if it's Salen that has been to this other planet, and he left tracks because he was like creepily going around in Rand's apartment looking for evidence for this thing that he may have completely fabricated because he's been sticking around for so long. Aden again. Maybe it's just a pet peeve of mine, and maybe no one else reacts this way. But I'm just like, I get so miffed when there's a quest that's like, hey, visit 3 or 4 planets. I'm like, but why? Like, it's cool if it's like a grand, like, galaxy-spanning adventure where cool stuff's happening, and look how crazy this is. But it's like really minor fetch quests where it takes about as long to do the loading and traveling as it does to do the thing when I get there usually. Which makes it a little more frustrating. In fact, it's actually a little frustrating that the main story doesn't take place on any of these planets. Like, what was nice about Mass Effect 1 was that there was tons of side content on each of the planets, but at the same time, there was a main mission on each of those planets that would, like, was the real reason you were there. In this game, I guess you could say the main story is settling Andromeda, in which case, man, that's really boring because it's a wide open, empty concept like No Man's Sky, where it's just like, you never know when you're done, or when you've started, or when you've made true progress, but you just kind of make a few planets happy-ish and make a settlement, and there you go. Like, it's a thing to do, and it's not a story. It's just it's not really a story. It really is just like a checklist and some busy work. And so, on top of just the concept of like fixing Andromeda and settling there, you need like a story going on in your game or your book or your movie. A plot that drives things forward. And in this game, the plot is the Ket. Pretty much exclusively, the Ket are what the plot of the game is. So it's weird how the Ket plot is largely just non-existent. These planets are not tied to Ket plans. We're not thwarting them in any direct way, and Ket aren't doing any. Wow, we flew really close to that giant pillar. The Ket aren't really doing anything particularly important on these planets, and they basically just randomly ambush you constantly, kind of like random encounters from a JRPG, essentially. In fact, they operate almost exactly like your average enemies do when you're playing Final Fantasy 15 specifically. How am I gonna get out there? Probably from this side. In some uncharted territory. But by and large, the storyline of each planet is kind of a completely independent thing that's totally unconnected to any of the other stories of the other planets. Which, having unconnected stories exist on each planet is fine, but it's frustrating how the Ket, our enemies, don't have any sort of ongoing story on the planets.
Pathfinder, this area can be mined for resources. You can extract minerals via your mining interface.
It leads to an awkward dynamic where there's just two separate there's essentially two stories happening at once in parallel that only sometimes sort of interact between the Ket. Where's the worm? Between the Ket and the Andromeda Initiative storylines. And since the Andromeda stuff is barely a story, but more just a framing device, it's important for the Ket stuff there to be picking it up, because framing devices are fine, and settings are fine, but without a story, you're just wandering around in a setting, and that's it. And that's why these planets kind of feel flat, and like there's not a lot of, like, momentum to them. Is that two worms? What's going on there? They feel like there's a lack of momentum in building to them because the Ket aren't really being developed as an enemy here. You're not learning about them, or they're not advancing their cause, or you're not stopping their cause, and there's no development as them as characters, whereas as you got
This is the first time I've been on Aden. I can't decide if I like it. It's a striking landscape, but the fierce sun and the terrible heat.
What happened is, like, without development without proper development for the characters themselves, like, and for your enemies, like, it becomes flat, because, like, Saren actually was being developed every planet in the first Mass Effect. You learn more about Saren, or his plans, or even affected his decisions, or you confronted him directly, and, like, something was happening with Saren on each planet. That was the point, essentially. And that's one of the things that's missing. It's like, Aden is just a place. HO whatever is just a place.
Pathfinder, these are the approximate coordinates extrapolated from the Solarian apartment.
This was sure worth the trip.
There's sand traps all over. Let's look under the surface.
At most, if you're lucky, there might be a Ket outpost on the planet that is like a carbon copy-paste of the other outposts, all the way down to having the same boss that you fight for when you go through it. And that's not development. That's status quo. That's completely static behavior. Hello, footprints.
Something was here, then dragged that way.
Witcher sense activate! I'm clicking you so hard right now. Wait, you said something was dragged this way? These are footsteps. Did I hear that correctly? I thought he said drag, but these are definitely footsteps. Hello, thing that's apparently up here.
There, scavengers. Likely unfriendly.
The trail leads right to them.
Well, what have you been doing over here? Have you been a naughty boy? Whoop. Shoink. That'll hurt a lot of them, probably.
Wait, is that Salen?
Well, if Salen's here, that raises some questions.
Alive. But likely not feeling well.
Pass the metagel.
Stop that.
Let's get him back on his feet.
Pass the metagel, let's get him back on his feet. Maybe finish the fight first, so the dialogue can feel a little natural. Can I grab that? Nope. There we go. Speaking of Metagel, let's heal me up real quick. Hello, Salen.
Salen, what happened to you?
Salen? Very familiar for our first real meeting.
Not funny, Solarian.
I contacted you, hoping one of my suspects would do something reckless, and unfortunately, he did. I imagine I was supposed to vanish out here while he used my cloak device. Any Salen you met was Dr. Aden in disguise.
Wait, he asked me to analyze leads that could implicate him.
Let me guess. Aden asked you to scan those leads. I suspected the traitor was hiding messages on optical encoders. Those messages were the real proof I needed, but a powerful scanner like yours would wipe them. Aden used you and my investigation to cover his tracks. Canny bastard.
I examined an apartment belonging to a Solarian officer, Rand Lon. The clues there led me to you.
Interesting. That confirms my suspicions. Everything comes back to our Ark. Aden didn't have the clearance to alter logs or affect the nav computer, yet he's obviously guilty. I suspect Aden is the front man for a conspiracy involving the Ket. He's the key to blowing it open.
Right. Except Aden got rid of anything we had on him, and I'll bet Rand Lon has disappeared.
Aden. He forgot the dart he poisoned me with. Still in there with the ballistics intact. Contact Aden, feign ignorance, and ask for a meeting. I'll be there to arrest him.
We'd need somewhere to meet Aden. Somewhere neutral.
There are caves on Kadara that might be suitable.
Send the word.
You alright, Drac?
Too much high ground. Keep expecting an ambush.
Oh, Drac doesn't like being around here. He doesn't feel safe. Well, joke's on you, Drac.
Harsh learning that shit on Vold. Bright side, no children. Every cat an enemy.
An enemy who used to be family.
Right, we'll call it a wash.
Bright side, Drac, is yes, there's always an ambush coming. And guess what? They're just not that dangerous, so we'll be fine.
Got them all.
Got them all. Yeah, you're right. We kicked those guys' asses, Mr. Pathfinder. He's losing his mind. Ooh, I'm gonna take your stuff. Thank you.
There you are. Did you investigate those leads?
I learned you're a Ket collaborator and a murderer.
Who's one victim short?
So it's true. Old spies really do live forever.
This old spy would punch you if he wasn't carrying evidence in his chest.
I tried to give you a decent burial, Major. There was no time to convince you of our cause.
Selling your Ark to the Ket makes no logical or tactical sense.
To you, because you lack data. Several of us woke early, prepped the Ark, and then we found the Ket, an unstoppable enemy. So we made a pact. Sacrifice our Ark to the Ket and learn their secrets, so one day we could destroy them along with their exaltation.
Is that Garrus's voice actor going through of course, a Solarian voice filter? Because it sure sounds like Garrus. Huh. Sacrifice Ark to the Ket, learn their secrets so we can one day destroy them along with their exaltation. You sacrificed the Ark? That's an insane gamble.
Hey, I know how not to get exalted. Get ourselves exalted, you idiot.
Listen, there is an empire of Ket beyond Helios. All-powerful conquerors who will invade us eventually. The secrets we learn could stop our extinction before it begins. Give us our freedom, and they're yours. Don't let this go to waste.
What exactly are you offering?
The intricacies of the Ket Empire. Vassals, potential weak points, exaltation secrets.
Which we can't confirm. And you could have pulled out of your cloaca.
We had to sacrifice civilians for this, Major. Will you let that be for nothing?
Put this traitor where he belongs, Major.
We have particular accommodations for collaborators.
Arrest me, and you'll never find the others.
I've got nothing but time to look. I'm retired, remember? Me, Reka, the others, we all owe you for this ride. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need a militia pickup, the doctor, and the biggest drink on the Nexus.
Wait. Wait, they just walk away? They just walk away and we don't... It's right up there with that time we just left that girl in, like, the cannibal building. Like, that guy was clearly wounded, he had been hurt, left for dead, and we're gonna trust him to take away the person who betrayed the entire Solarian Ark on foot? With no follow-up. It's implied that maybe he has a gun, but I don't think we even saw that. So, like, why wouldn't that guy just turn on him and claim his own freedom again? How in the world is the Pathfinder this passive about the salvation, about capturing that guy? That's nuts. And it just ends just like that, huh? Whoa. Yeah, Helios and allies are both blank now. That's never happened before, because allies and relationships always had the ongoing SAM node memory thing waiting for me. There we go. Journey to Meridian. At long last, it's the one thing remaining. I thought we were gonna... This game keeps surprising me. I was so sure that we were gonna go straight into the next story mission, but actually there was like 3 hours of side quests and dialogue to follow. But now we'll make one more step towards the ending, and maybe then 3 more hours of side quests will come falling out. Don't know what to expect, but yeah. Huh. Was that Garrus's voice actor? It's hard to look up because they're kind of lazy about credits in these games. When you go to like IMDb and try to look around or anything about crediting, like the way that most voice acting is handled in games like this is just additional voices. That comes up a lot because I keep recognizing that voice actress from Sense 8 being the person who she's the leader of the Krogan and she's Jean Garson. So she's the leader of the entire initiative and the Krogans.
Why would anyone near the end of their life take a chance joining the initiative?
Why would anyone at the start of theirs join up with strangers like us? Besides, who says I'm old? Who says I'm dying?
I don't think I said that.
You did.
I'm certain I didn't.
Now you're saying I'm deaf.
Ryder?
Nope, not getting involved.
Hey, you're not wrong, Tal. I am old, but I got a lot of living left.
Just kind of screwing around with this thing because I can, and I was trying to wait out the dialogue. It's like the same voice actress is the leader of the Krogan and the leader of the initiative, and also played that one Solarian in the crew. But she's only credited as being Jean Garson and then additional voices, and you can't get any more information than that. Unfortunately, that makes it really hard to pinpoint who's playing who in this game. On the topic of Drac being old, he's old for a Krogan, sure, but I don't know why that's a sticking point for people, because he's old enough to outlive another whole generation of humans, and like 3 generations of Solarians. Like, compared to other people, he's gonna live forever. What the hell? That place is surrounded by a whole ring of mines that are not affecting me at all. That made me jump a little bit. I thought we were done. Alright, well, I'm curious. Damn it. It's highlighted like something you can interact with, but I can't touch it. Huh. Weird. You can't scan anything around about this place at all? Looks like smeared Asari blood on the wall, and a dead Asari, and mines laid everywhere. I don't know if they're maybe they're suddenly going for some environmental storytelling approach or something like that they haven't really been doing until now. Or maybe a quest points here I've never found, which, wow, there's still more? Let's head on out.